The scent of blood and desperation hit Alpha King Dante Cordero before he even saw the pup. He was mid-sentence, laying down the law about territory disputes to his pack council, when every wolf in the Devil's Reaper's clubhouse went stone silent. The kind of silence that meant something was wrong. Very wrong. Then came the screaming. "They're beating my mama. Please, somebody help my mama." The voice was small, broken, terrified. A child. Dante was through the door before his VP could stand. His boots hit the pavement of the parking lot, and there she was, a little girl, maybe 5 years old, wild dark curls stuck to her tear-soaked face, dirt smudged across her cheeks. She wore pajamas with cartoon characters on them, and her bare feet were bleeding from running on gravel. She stumbled toward him, and something inside Dante's chest cracked wide open. His wolf surged forward, howling for blood. Not just anger, pure, primal rage. He hadn't felt this kind of fury in years. Decades, maybe. Not since the day he'd buried his sister. Where? Dante dropped to one knee, his voice rough but steady. "Where's your mama, baby girl?" The child grabbed his leather cut with tiny, shaking hands. "The apartments. The bad men came back. They're hurting her. Please." Dante looked up. Kane, his VP, was already flanking him, along with Reaper, Jax, and Smoke. His best fighters. His brothers. 3 blocks east, Mila sobbed. "Building C. Please hurry." Dante scooped the child up and handed her to Kane. "Stay with her." "Dante. That's an order." Then he ran. His pack followed, a wave of leather and muscle and fury. They didn't need directions. Dante could smell it now, the sharp copper tang of fresh blood, the acrid stink of fear, the rot of cheap cologne and cheaper drugs. The apartment complex was a crumbling monument to neglect. Flickering lights. Broken windows. The kind of place where people learn not to hear screaming. Dante took the stairs 3 at a time, his wolf so close to the surface that his eyes bled gold. He could hear it now, a woman's weak cries, a man's laughter, the meaty thud of fists against flesh. He didn't knock. The door splintered under his boot, and the scene that greeted him made his vision go red. 3 men. 1 woman on the floor, curled into herself, trying to protect her ribs and her face. Blood everywhere. Too much blood. What the biggest one started to turn, reaching for something at his waistband. Dante's hand closed around the man's throat before he could finish the sentence. "Marcus?" The man's eyes bulged. "Who the hell?" Wrong answer. Dante squeezed, and the man's windpipe collapsed with a satisfying crunch. He let the body drop and turned to the other 2. They were already backing away, hands up, babbling excuses and apologies. Dante didn't hear any of it. His wolf was in control now, and his wolf only understood one language. The executions were quick. Brutal. Final. When the silence returned, Dante stood in the center of the carnage, his chest heaving, blood splattered across his leather. Behind him, Reaper let out a low whistle. "Boss, we don't." "I know." Dante's voice was flat. He knew what he'd just done. The Wolf Council had laws about killing on impulse, about executions without trial. He'd just violated every single one of them. He didn't care. The woman on the floor was still breathing, barely. Dante crossed to her in 2 strides and knelt, careful not to touch her yet. "Olivia?" She flinched at the sound of her name. "I've got you," Dante said quietly. "Your daughter's safe. I've got you." He slid his arms beneath her, lifting her as gently as he could. She was small, light, her body trembling with pain and shock. Her dark hair fell across his arm, and that's when the scent hit him. Dante froze. Blood. Copper and salt. But beneath it, something else. Something that made his wolf go absolutely still, ears perked, entire being focused. Wild honey. Summer rain. Home. No. It wasn't possible. Dante's heart slammed against his ribs as he looked down at the woman in his arms. His fated mate. After 43 years of searching, of giving up, of resigning himself to a loveless political match with Sabrina, here she was. Broken and bleeding in his arms. But that wasn't the only shock. As her head lolled against his chest, her hair fell away from her shoulder, and Dante saw the marks. Scar tissue. Raised and deliberate. Someone had burned away her pack markings. His blood went cold. Olivia wasn't human. She was a wolf. A wolf whose markings had been burned off, a punishment so brutal, so final, that it was only used for one kind of crime. Treason. Dante. Jax's voice was careful. Is that? Get back to the clubhouse. Dante's voice was steel. Now. And someone bring my bike around. We're taking them both. Reaper stepped closer, his eyes on the scars. Boss, if she's marked like that, we need to know what she did. The council. The council can come find me if they have questions. Dante adjusted Olivia in his arms and headed for the door. Right now, all I care about is keeping her alive. Outside, Kane was waiting with Mila clutched to his chest. The little girl's eyes went wide when she saw her mother. Mama. She's okay, baby, Dante lied smoothly. We're going to take care of her. Can you be brave a little longer? Mila nodded, tears streaming down her face. Dante's bike was already running. He settled into the seat with Olivia cradled against him, her blood soaking through his shirt, into his skin. The scent of her was everywhere now, driving his wolf insane with the need to protect, to claim, to keep. His fated mate. A traitor. A single mother. A woman who'd been beaten within an inch of her life in a run-down apartment while her daughter ran through the night looking for help. Kane pulled up beside him with Mila secured in front of him. Club doc's waiting, Kane said. But Dante, man, you know Sabrina's going to hear about this. 3 dead bodies, no trial, no council approval. Let her hear. Dante kicked the bike into gear. I'm done playing by their rules. The ride back was short, but every second felt like an eternity. Olivia's breathing was shallow, her heartbeat too slow. Dante pushed the bike harder, weaving through empty streets, his entire focus on the woman in his arms. She couldn't die. Not now. Not when he'd just found her. The clubhouse came into view, and Dante barely waited for the bike to stop before he was moving, carrying Olivia through the doors, past his brothers, straight to the medical room they kept for emergencies. Doc was already there, supplies laid out, hands steady. On the table, Doc ordered. Dante laid her down, his hands lingering on her skin longer than necessary. He stepped back, but his wolf snarled in protest, demanding he stay close, stay vigilant. Everyone out, Doc said. I need room to work. No one moved. That includes you, Alpha. Doc's eyes flicked to Dante. You're hovering. Dante stopped himself. He couldn't say it. Not yet. Not until he understood what the hell was happening. Just save her. Doc nodded once. I will. But I need space. Go check on the kid. Dante forced himself to turn away, to walk out of the room. In the hallway, Mila was sitting on Kane's lap, her eyes huge and scared. When she saw Dante, she scrambled down and ran to him. Is my mama going to die? Dante knelt down, meeting those terrified eyes. No, baby. I promise you, your mama's going to be just fine. Mila threw her arms around his neck, and Dante held her, this tiny pup who'd somehow stumbled into his life and turned everything upside down. Behind him, his phone buzzed. Dante pulled it out with his free hand and saw the name on the screen. Sabrina. Of course. Word traveled fast in the wolf world. He declined the call and looked at Kane. Get me everything you can find on Olivia Martinez. I want to know who she was, what pack she came from, and why the hell someone burned her markings off. Kane's expression was grim. You sure you want those answers? No. Dante looked back toward the medical room. But I'm going to get them anyway. Because his fated mate was lying unconscious in his clubhouse, marked as a traitor, with a 5-year-old daughter and a past that someone had tried to erase. And Dante Cordero, Alpha King of the North American Packs, president of the Devil's Reapers MC, had just committed an act of war to save her. The council would come for him. Sabrina would use this. And somewhere out there, someone had tortured his mate and left her for dead. Dante's phone buzzed again. Another call from Sabrina. Then a text, we need to talk about tonight. You've made a grave mistake. He powered the phone off and tucked Mila closer. Let them come. He'd burn the whole damn world down before he let anyone hurt his mate or her daughter again. Chapter 2. Olivia woke to the scent of leather and pine, and her first instinct was to run. Her eyes flew open. Wrong ceiling. Wrong bed. Wrong everything. She tried to sit up and pain exploded through her ribs, stealing her breath. Her hands flew to her sides, finding bandages wrapped tight around her torso. Where was she? Where was Mila? The name tore from her throat, raw and desperate. The door opened immediately, and a woman stepped through. Older, maybe 50, with kind eyes and steady hands. She wore scrubs and had a stethoscope around her neck. Your daughter's fine, the woman said, her voice calm. She's sleeping down the hall. I'm Elena, the pack doctor. You're safe here. Pack doctor. The word sent ice through Olivia's veins. No. She tried to swing her legs off the bed, but her body wouldn't cooperate. Everything hurt. No, I need to. I have to get Mila out of here. Elena moved closer, hands out in a gesture of peace. Mrs. Martinez, you've been unconscious for 3 days. You have 2 cracked ribs, a concussion, internal bruising, and... I don't care. Olivia's voice cracked. You don't understand. If they find us here, if they know. If who finds you? The new voice was deep, rough, and it made something in Olivia's chest pull tight. She looked toward the door and saw him, the man from that night. Big, dangerous, with dark eyes that seemed to see straight through her. The Alpha. Terror flooded her system. She pressed herself back against the headboard, ignoring the screaming pain in her ribs. Stay away from me. Dante Cordero stopped in the doorway, his expression unreadable. I'm not going to hurt you. That's what they all say. Olivia's hands shook as she grabbed the 4-line in her arm. Where's my daughter? I want my daughter. Now. She's 2 doors down, sleeping in a room with more stuffed animals than a toy store, Dante said. One of my pack sisters, Maya, is with her. She hasn't been alone for a second. Olivia yanked the 4 out, blood welling up on her arm. Elena made a sound of protest, but Dante held up a hand. Let her, he said quietly. Alpha, she needs. I know what she needs. Dante's eyes never left Olivia's face. She needs to see that her daughter is safe. Then maybe she'll let us help her. Olivia got her feet on the floor, using the nightstand to steady herself. Her legs felt like water, her head spun, but she forced herself to stand. I don't need your help. I need you to let us go. Can't do that. Why? The question came out as a snarl. Because I'm on your territory? Because you think you own me now? I've heard it all before, Alpha. I know how this works. Something flickered in Dante's expression. Pain, maybe. Or anger. You don't know anything about me. I know enough. Olivia took a step toward the door, swayed, and caught herself on the wall. I know what alphas do to women who can't fight back. I know what they take. What they think they're owed. Dante's jaw clenched. The men who hurt you are dead. I killed them myself. And I'd do it again. How noble. Olivia's laugh was bitter. My hero. Except I didn't ask you to save me, and I sure as hell didn't ask you to bring me to your clubhouse like some kind of mate. The word hung in the air between them. Olivia froze. What? You're my fated mate, Dante said, and his voice was rough, strained. The bond snapped into place the second I picked you up. You feel it too, don't you? Even with your wolf bound. No. No, that wasn't possible. Olivia shook her head, backing away. You're lying. I don't lie to my mate. I'm not your mate. I'm not anyone's. Her back hit the wall. Just let me take my daughter and go. Please. You have no idea what you've done by bringing me here. Then tell me. Dante took a step closer, and Olivia noticed he was careful to keep his movements slow, non-threatening. Tell me who you're running from. It doesn't matter. The hell it doesn't. His eyes flashed gold. Someone burned your pack marks off, Olivia. Someone tortured you and left you for dead. That matters. Olivia's hand flew to her shoulder, to the scars she'd hidden for 5 years. How do you? Elena examined you while you were unconscious, Dante said. She found evidence of systematic torture. Old wounds, some healed wrong. And the markings, that's not something done lightly. That's a pack punishment. I deserved it. The words tasted like ash. Dante's expression went hard. Like hell you did. You don't know what I did. So tell me. Olivia closed her eyes. She was so tired. Tired of running, tired of hiding, tired of the nightmares that woke her up screaming. But telling him the truth meant putting him in danger too. And despite everything, despite her terror and her trauma and her absolute certainty that all alphas were monsters, she believed he'd protect Mila. God help her, she believed it. I was born in the Silver Crest Pack, Olivia said finally, her voice barely above a whisper. My father was the beta. I was engaged to the alpha's son, Christian. I thought I was lucky. He was handsome, powerful, respected. She opened her eyes and found Dante watching her, his expression carefully neutral. Then I found out what he was doing. What they were both doing, Christian and his father, Alpha Garrett. The memory made her stomach turn. They were trafficking Omega wolves. Taking them from smaller packs, ones too weak to fight back. Selling them to fighting rings, to worse places. Dante's hands curled into fists. Jesus. I thought I could stop it. I thought if I brought evidence to the Pack Council, they'd listen. Olivia laughed, the sound hollow. I was so stupid. Christian's father owned the council. When I tried to expose them, they called me a liar. Said I was trying to destroy the pack from within. They held a trial, found me guilty of treason, and... Her hand went to her shoulder again, to the raised scars hidden beneath her hospital gown. They burned the marks off while the whole pack watched, she whispered. Then Christian injected me with wolfsbane. Not enough to kill me, but enough to bind my wolf so deep I can't reach her anymore. I'm functionally human now. Elena made a soft sound of horror. Dante's voice was deadly quiet. How did you escape? I didn't, not at first. They kept me in the cells for weeks. But I was pregnant, I didn't even know until one of the guards told me. Christian's baby. She swallowed hard. He wanted to keep me alive until I gave birth, then kill me and raise the child himself. But one of the Omega wolves I tried to help, she was working in the kitchens. She got me out, helped me disappear. And you've been running ever since. Olivia nodded. I thought if I stayed away from pack territories, stayed human, they'd never find me. But Marcus, her voice broke. I was so careful. I don't know how he found me. We'll figure it out, Dante said. But right now, you need to rest. You're safe here, Olivia. I give you my word. Your word means nothing to me. But even as she said it, Olivia felt herself swaying, her body giving out. Dante moved fast, catching her before she hit the floor. His arms around her felt like coming home, and that terrified her more than anything. Put me down, she said weakly. When you're back in bed. He carried her the few steps to the bed and laid her down gently. Olivia hated how good it felt, hated the way her body relaxed into his touch. I'll bring Mila to you in an hour, Dante said. Let Elena patch you up first. You're bleeding. Olivia looked down and saw blood dripping from where she'd torn out her fore. She was too exhausted to care. Elena moved in with fresh bandages, and Dante headed for the door. Alpha, Elena said quietly. There's something else you need to know. About the girl. Dante stopped. She's showing signs of an early shift, Elena said. Very early. She shouldn't even be close to puberty, but her wolf is pushing through. Probably trauma-induced. Olivia's blood ran cold. No. She's only 5. That's not possible. It's rare, but it happens, Elena said. Usually in children who've experienced extreme stress or been exposed to high levels of alpha pheromones. And with her mother's wolf bound, there's no one to help her learn control. I can help her, Dante said immediately. No. Olivia tried to sit up again. You stay away from my daughter. If I don't help her, she could die. Dante's voice was hard. An uncontrolled first shift in a child that young? Her body can't handle it. She needs an alpha to guide her through, to show her how to. I said no. Mama? The small voice from the doorway made everyone freeze. Mila stood there in clean pajamas, her hair braided, holding a stuffed wolf. But her eyes. Her eyes were glowing amber. Baby, Olivia breathed. Mama, something's wrong. Mila's voice was scared, confused. I feel funny. My skin hurts. Dante moved slowly toward the little girl. Hey, Mila. Remember me? Mila nodded. You saved my mama. That's right. And I'm going to help you too, okay? You're not sick. You're just growing up a little faster than we expected. Dante, Olivia warned. But Mila was looking up at him with those glowing eyes, and Olivia could see the shift beginning. Her daughter's hands were trembling, small claws starting to emerge. It hurts, Mila whimpered. Dante knelt down. I know, baby girl. But you're going to be okay. I promise. Can you be brave for me? Mila nodded, tears streaming down her face. Close your eyes, Dante said softly. And listen to my voice. Just my voice. Can you hear my heartbeat? Olivia watched, her own heart in her throat, as Dante talked her daughter through it. His voice was steady, calm, and after a few minutes, Mila's claws retracted. Her eyes faded back to their normal brown. There you go, Dante murmured. You did so good. Mila collapsed against him, exhausted, and he caught her easily. When he looked up at Olivia, his expression was grim. This is going to keep happening, he said. And it's going to get worse. I can help her, Olivia. But you have to let me. Olivia wanted to scream, wanted to run, wanted to grab her daughter and disappear into the night. But she wasn't stupid. She knew what an uncontrolled shift could do to a child. Fine, she said, the word tasting like defeat. But I'm there. Every time. Agreed. Dante carried Mila to the bed and laid her next to Olivia. The little girl immediately curled into her mother's side, already half asleep. I'll have food sent up, Dante said. And some clothes that actually fit. You're staying in my quarters for now, it's the most secure room in the clubhouse. How convenient for you. His jaw tightened. I'm sleeping on the couch in the next room. You and Mila get the bed. I'm not, Christ, Olivia, I'm not going to force anything on you. I'm just trying to keep you safe. Why? The question came out raw. Why do you care? Because you're my mate, Dante said simply. And because someone needs to prove to you that not all alphas are monsters. He left before she could respond. Olivia held Mila close, breathing in her daughter's scent, and tried not to think about how much danger they were in. Because Dante was right, Marcus had found them somehow. Which meant Silvercrest knew where she was. They would come for her. And when they did, everyone in this clubhouse would be in danger. She must have dozed off, because the next thing she knew, shouting from downstairs jolted her awake. Mila stirred but didn't wake. Olivia carefully extracted herself from the bed and moved to the door, pressing her ear against it. Don't care what your reasons were, a woman's voice said, cold and imperious. You executed 3 men without trial, without council approval. That's a direct violation of pack law. They were beating a woman to death in front of her daughter. Dante's voice was hard. I'd do it again. How noble. Tell me, Dante, was it really about justice? Or was it about something else? Footsteps on the stairs. Olivia backed away from the door, her heart hammering. The woman you're protecting, the voice continued, closer now. Where is she? That's none of your business, Sabrina. Sabrina. The name sent a chill through Olivia. Luna Sabrina, who sat on the Wolf Council. Dante's ex-fiancée. I'm making it my business. Especially since my sources tell me you've been housing a branded traitor. A pause. Olivia Martinez. Also known as Olivia Ashford, former daughter of the Beta of Silvercrest. The woman who tried to destroy her own pack. No. No, no, no. Get out, Dante said, his voice lethal. Not until I see her. Alpha Garrett has been looking for his son's runaway fiancée for 5 years. Imagine his relief when he heard she'd finally surfaced. Olivia's knees gave out. She sank to the floor, one hand pressed to her mouth to keep from making a sound. They knew. Silvercrest knew where she was. And worse, Sabrina and Garrett were allies. The door opened, and Dante stood there, his expression grim. Behind him, Olivia could see a tall, elegant woman with ice blonde hair and cold blue eyes. Sabrina smiled. Hello, Olivia. It's been a long time. And Olivia knew, with sickening certainty, that her worst nightmare had finally caught up with her. Chapter 3. Sabrina looked like everything Olivia had once wanted to be, polished, powerful, perfectly in control. She wore a tailored suit that probably cost more than Olivia's car, and her smile was the kind that cut like glass. The council has questions, Sabrina said, stepping into the room uninvited. About the woman you're harboring, Dante. The woman who nearly destroyed an entire pack with her lies. Get out. Dante moved to block Sabrina's path, but she simply walked around him, her eyes fixed on Olivia. 5 years, Sabrina mused. That's how long Alpha Garrett has been searching for you. His son was devastated when you disappeared. Claimed you'd been kidnapped, that someone had poisoned your mind against them. Olivia forced herself to stand, ignoring the pain. Christian knew exactly why I left. Did he? Sabrina's eyebrow arched. Because the council's records show you were tried and convicted of fabricating evidence against your pack's leadership. Treason, Olivia. The worst crime a wolf can commit. I didn't fabricate anything. Then prove it. Sabrina's voice was cold. The council demands you return to Silvercrest for proper judgment. We have 3 other council members downstairs, along with a legal representative from Alpha Garrett. They're prepared to take you into custody tonight. No. Dante's voice was lethal. She's not going anywhere. You don't have a choice. Pack law is clear. She's my mate. The words dropped like stones into water. Sabrina went very still. Excuse me? Olivia is my fated mate, Dante said, his voice steady. The bond snapped into place 3 days ago. Under PAC law, that supersedes any previous claims or convictions. She's under my protection. Sabrina's expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes. I see. How convenient. Tell me, Dante, can you prove this bond? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're using an ancient law to harbor a criminal. The bond is real. Then have her shift. Show us her wolf, let us see the mate markings form. Sabrina's smile was sharp. Unless, of course, she can't shift. I heard rumors that Silver Crest bound her wolf before she escaped. If that's true, there's no way to verify your claim. Dante's hands curled into fists. Her wolf being bound doesn't change what she is to me. Doesn't it? Sabrina turned to the other council members who'd appeared in the doorway. This is exactly what I've been warning you about. Dante Cordero is unstable. He's been using his motorcycle club to avoid his responsibilities to the pack for years, and now he's manufacturing a mate bond to justify protecting a convicted traitor. That's bullshit, Dante snarled. Is it? You killed 3 men without trial. You're housing a woman with burned pack marks. And now you're claiming a bond that can't be verified. Sabrina's voice was reasonable, calm. I think it's time the council seriously considered whether you're fit to lead. Before Dante could respond, a small voice cut through the tension. Leave my mama alone. Everyone turned. Mila stood in the bedroom doorway, her eyes glowing that eerie amber. But this time, it wasn't just her eyes. Her hands had shifted into claws, her teeth had sharpened, and there was something wild in her expression. Mila, baby, go back to bed, Olivia said, trying to keep her voice steady. But Mila wasn't listening. She was staring at Sabrina, a low growl building in her throat. Interesting, Sabrina said softly. The child is shifting. At what, 5 years old? That shouldn't be possible unless, her eyes widened slightly. Unless she's an alpha. Dante moved fast, scooping Mila up before anyone else could react. Shoo, baby girl. It's okay. Nobody's going to hurt your mama. Promise? Mila's voice was small, scared. I promise. Dante's voice was gentle in a way that made Olivia's chest ache. Can you do what we practiced? Deep breaths, listen to my heartbeat. Olivia watched her daughter calm under Dante's steady presence, watched the way he held her like she was precious, irreplaceable. Something inside her chest cracked open. We'll be back in the morning, Sabrina said, her eyes still on Mila. With a formal council order. Until then, Dante, I suggest you think very carefully about what you're doing. She left, her heels clicking on the hardwood, the other council members following. The moment they were gone, Dante's shoulders sagged. How bad is this? Olivia asked quietly. Bad. Dante looked at her, Mila still in his arms. But I meant what I said. You're not going back there. You can't stop the council. Watch me. Mila yawned, her shift receding completely now. I'm sleepy. Let's get you back to bed, Dante said. He carried her to the bedroom, and Olivia followed, her body protesting every step. As Dante tucked Mila in, the little girl grabbed his hand. Are you going to be my new daddy? The question hung in the air. Dante's expression softened in a way Olivia had never seen. Would you like that? He asked. Mila nodded. You're nice. And you smell like pine trees. I like pine trees. Then yeah, baby girl. If your mama will let me, I'll be your new daddy. Mila smiled and closed her eyes, asleep within seconds. Olivia stood frozen in the doorway, her heart hammering. Dante straightened and turned to her, and the look in his eyes made her breath catch. We need to talk, he said quietly. They went to the living area of his quarters, and Dante poured himself a drink. He didn't offer her one, probably because of her injuries. You should rest, he said. I should run. Olivia sank onto the couch. Take Mila and disappear before this gets worse. It's already worse. Running won't help. It's kept us alive for 5 years. Barely. Dante sat across from her, his elbows on his knees. And now they know where you are. Silvercrest isn't going to stop, Olivia. Which means we need to figure out a way to fight back. There is no fighting back. They're too powerful, too connected. She closed her eyes. I should never have come here. You didn't have a choice. Your daughter brought you. Because you saved us. She opened her eyes and found him watching her. Why? You don't know me. You don't owe me anything. You're my mate. Stop saying that like it means something. It means everything. Dante's voice was rough. I know you don't believe me. I know you've been hurt and you don't trust alphas, and you have every right to feel that way. But the mate bond isn't something I can fake or manufacture. When I picked you up that night, my wolf knew. Every instinct I have is screaming at me to protect you, to claim you, to keep you safe. I don't want to be claimed. I know. He leaned back, running a hand through his hair. I'm not going to force anything on you. But I need you to understand, I can't just let you go. Not now. Not when I finally found you. Finally? Olivia frowned. What does that mean? Dante was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was heavy with old pain. I had a mate once. Before you. Her name was Rosie. He stared at his hands. We were young, barely 20. She got pregnant, and we were so happy. Planning our life together, picking out names. His jaw clenched. Then Sabrina's father decided he wanted to merge our packs. Wanted me to reject Rosie and mate with Sabrina instead, for political power. Olivia's chest tightened. What happened? I refused. So he made it look like an accident. Dante's voice went flat. Ambushed us during a territory run. They killed Rosie and our unborn daughter in front of me, made it look like a rogue attack. By the time I recovered, Sabrina's father had consolidated power, and I had no proof it was him. Oh, God. Sabrina knew. She's always known. But she went along with it because she wanted to be Luna. Dante looked up, and his eyes were haunted. I've spent 20 years building this club, keeping my pack safe, waiting for some sign that I'd get a second chance. And then you stumbled into my parking lot, covered in blood, and my wolf woke up for the first time in 2 decades. Olivia didn't know what to say. She'd spent so long seeing all alphas as monsters that she'd forgotten they could be victims too. I'm sorry, she whispered. Don't be sorry. Just don't ask me to let you go. Before she could respond, a crash from the bedroom made them both jump. Olivia was on her feet instantly, pain be damned, running toward Mila. Her daughter was sitting up in bed, her whole body glowing with amber light. But this wasn't like before. This was a full shift, and Mila was screaming. Help her, Olivia gasped. Dante was already there, his hands on Mila's shoulders. Hey, look at me. You're okay. Your body's just changing. It's going to feel weird, but I'm right here. It hurts, Mila sobbed. I know, baby. But you're so strong. You can do this. Dante's voice was calm, steady. Picture your wolf. What does she look like? She's white. Like snow. That's beautiful. Now talk to her. Tell her you're ready. Olivia watched, her heart in her throat, as Mila's first full shift rippled through her. It was fast, too fast, but Dante guided her through every second of it. When it was done, a small white wolf pup sat on the bed, her amber eyes huge and scared. There you go, Dante murmured. You did it. You're perfect. The pup yipped and jumped at him, tail wagging. Dante caught her gently, and Olivia felt tears streaming down her face. Her baby girl. Her tiny, perfect daughter, who should never have had to shift this young. Who should have been safe and normal and... Olivia. Dante's voice was sharp. Breathe. You're having a panic attack. She was. Her lungs had seized up, her vision was tunneling, and she couldn't. Dante's hands were on her face, forcing her to look at him. With me. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. Come on. She tried to focus on his voice, on the steady beat of his heart. Slowly, painfully, she came back to herself. Sorry, she gasped. Don't apologize. You're doing great. He kept his hands on her face, his thumbs brushing away her tears. Mila's fine. Look. The white wolf pup was curled up on the bed, already asleep. Exhausted from her first shift. She's an alpha, Olivia whispered. A female alpha. That's rare. Incredibly rare. Dante's expression was grim. Which makes her a target. Silvercrest is going to want her even more now. As if on cue, voices erupted from downstairs. Angry voices. Then footsteps pounding up the stairs. Dante was on his feet instantly, positioning himself between Olivia and the door. Stay behind me. The door burst open, and a man Olivia had hoped never to see again stepped through. Ronan Cross. Alpha of Silver Crest. Christian's father. He looked exactly as she remembered, tall, silver-haired, with eyes like chips of ice. Behind him were 4 enforcers, all armed. Hello, Olivia, Ronan said pleasantly. It's been too long. Dante's growl was feral. Get out of my territory. I'm here under council authority. Ronan held up a document. Legal claim to the child. Mila Martinez, also known as Mila Cross. My granddaughter. The word hit Olivia like a physical blow. No. DNA doesn't lie, dear. Christian is the child's father, which makes her pack property. Ronan's smile was cold. We've been searching for you both for a very long time. You can't imagine how pleased I was to hear you'd finally surfaced. She's not going anywhere, Dante said. Actually, she is. Both of them are. Ronan gestured to his enforcers. Unless you want to start a war you can't win. Try me. Before Ronan could respond, Olivia stepped forward. She was shaking, terrified, but she forced the words out anyway. Christian isn't Mila's father. Everyone froze. What? Ronan's eyes narrowed. You are. Olivia's voice cracked, but she kept going. Christian was never interested in me. He couldn't even, it didn't matter. But you needed an heir, and your son couldn't give you one. So you came to my cell. Night after night. And when I fought, you held me down. When I screamed, you gagged me. And when I got pregnant. That's enough, Ronan snapped. You told everyone it was Christian's. Made him play the grieving fiancé when I escaped. Olivia was crying now, years of held-back trauma pouring out. You raped me. Repeatedly. Mila was conceived through violence, and you knew it. You've always known it. Dante made a sound like a wounded animal. His eyes had gone completely gold, and the rage coming off him was palpable. You're lying, Ronan said, but there was something in his expression now. Calculation. Am I? Then take a DNA test. Right now. Prove Christian is her father. Ronan was quiet for a long moment. Then he smiled, and it was the most terrifying thing Olivia had ever seen. Fine. I'll admit it. Mila is mine. He looked at Dante. Which makes her even more valuable. She's not just any alpha pup, she's been bred specifically to be stronger, faster, better than normal wolves. Part of a program we've been running for years. Olivia's blood ran cold. What program? The Omega trafficking wasn't just for fighting rings, Ronan said. We partnered with a geneticist. Dr. Caravas. She's been experimenting with forced alpha genetics, trying to create the perfect wolf. Mila is one of her successes. A female alpha, the rarest, most powerful outcome we've had yet. You're insane, Dante breathed. I'm practical. The wolf world is changing. We need stronger alphas to survive. Ronan's eyes went to the bedroom. And I'm not leaving without my daughter. Dante moved, fast as lightning, his hand around Ronan's throat. Over my dead body. That can be arranged. The standoff was broken by a voice from the hallway. Boss, we got a problem. It was Kane, Dante's VP. But his expression was wrong. Guilty. Dante's eyes narrowed. What kind of problem? Kane swallowed hard. I'm sorry, Dante. I didn't have a choice. Everything clicked into place. The way Marcus had found them. The way Silvercrest had known exactly where to look. You, Olivia whispered. You told them. Kane's face twisted with anguish. They have my sister. They've had her for 3 years. She's in the Omega Ring, and they said if I didn't cooperate, his voice broke. I'm sorry. I'm so fucking sorry. Dante released Ronan and turned to his VP, his best friend, his brother. How much did you tell them? Everything. Locations, numbers, security. Everything. Kane's hands were shaking. I had to. She's all I have left. Dante looked like he'd been gutted. Get out. Boss. I said get out. The alpha command in Dante's voice made everyone flinch. You're exiled from this pack. You have 10 minutes to leave my territory before I kill you myself. Kane stumbled backward, tears streaming down his face, and ran. The silence that followed was deafening. Ronan straightened his jacket, smiling. Well. That was illuminating. Now, shall we discuss the terms of Mila's return? Dante's response was a roar that shook the walls. He shifted in seconds, his massive black wolf lunging at Ronan with murder in his eyes. And in the chaos that followed, enforcers shifting, furniture crashing, blood spraying, Olivia did the only thing she could think of. She ran to the bedroom, scooped up the still sleeping white wolf pup, and whispered a prayer to any god who might be listening. Because they were about to go to war. And she had no idea if any of them would survive it. Chapter 4. The fight lasted 30 seconds. Dante's black wolf was massive, deadly, and absolutely feral with rage. He took down 2 of Ronan's enforcers before they even finished shifting. The third managed to get his teeth into Dante's shoulder, but paid for it when Dante ripped his throat out. Ronan shifted into a silver wolf and lunged for the bedroom, for Mila. He didn't make it. Dante intercepted him mid-leap, and the 2 alphas crashed through the wall into the hallway. The sounds of their battle echoed through the entire clubhouse, snarls, crashes, the crack of breaking bones. Olivia clutched the sleeping white pup to her chest, her back against the wall, terror freezing her in place. The 4th enforcer was circling toward her, his eyes locked on Mila. She had no weapons. No wolf. Nothing but a mother's desperation. The enforcer lunged. And something inside Olivia exploded. Pain like she'd never felt before tore through her body. Her scream was cut off as her bones began to break and reform. The wolfsbane that had been suppressing her wolf for 5 years shattered like glass under the force of her rage. No one touches my daughter. The shift was violent, chaotic, wrong in every way a first shift should never be. But Olivia didn't care. Her wolf burst free in a cascade of silver light, and suddenly she was standing on 4 legs, her teeth bared, her body between the enforcer and her child. The enforcer stopped, his eyes going wide with shock. Because Olivia wasn't just any wolf. Her fur was pure silver, almost white, and it seemed to glow with an inner light. Lunar markings, ancient symbols that hadn't been seen in generations, shimmered across her coat like moonlight on water. Impossible, the enforcer breathed. Olivia didn't give him time to say more. She tore into him with all the fury of 5 years of running, of hiding, of living in fear. When she was done, the enforcer wasn't getting back up. The silver wolf turned toward the sounds of battle in the hallway, ready to fight, but the noises had stopped. Olivia padded out carefully, Mila's pup form following close behind. What she saw made her heart stop. Dante's black wolf was standing over Ronan's broken silver form. But Dante was bleeding from a dozen wounds, his breathing labored. As she watched, he swayed on his feet. Then he collapsed. No. Olivia shifted back without thinking, stumbling on human legs, her body still adjusting. She fell to her knees beside Dante, her hands hovering over his wounds. There was so much blood. Dante, no, you have to stay with me. He shifted back, his eyes finding hers. You're a lunar wolf. I don't care what I am. You're not dying. She pressed her hands to the worst wound, trying to stop the bleeding. Someone help. I need a doctor. Footsteps thundered up the stairs. The clubhouse had erupted into chaos. Pack members flooded the hallway, weapons drawn, ready for battle. But the battle was over. Ronan was unconscious, his body broken. The enforcers were dead or dying. And Dante. Move. Elena pushed through the crowd, her medical bag in hand. She took one look at Dante and her expression went grim. Get him to the medical room. Now. 4 pack members carefully lifted Dante. Olivia tried to follow, but her legs gave out. Someone caught her, Reaper, his expression shocked as he looked at her silver markings. What the hell are you? He breathed. His mate. Olivia's voice was steel. Now help me walk before I collapse. They got her to the medical room where Elena was already working on Dante. The wounds were bad, deep gashes from Ronan's teeth and claws, internal bleeding, possible damage to his spine. He's not healing fast enough, Elena said, her hands bloody. The wounds are too severe. Alpha or not, he's going to die without intervention. Then intervene, Olivia snapped. I can't. Nothing I have is strong enough. Elena looked up, and there was something like pity in her eyes. The only thing that might save him is completing the mate bond. The combined healing power of 2 bonded wolves could. Tell me what to do. Elena blinked. You understand what that means? Once the bond is complete, it's permanent. You'll be tied to him forever. You'll feel everything he feels, and he'll feel everything you feel. There's no undoing it. Olivia looked at Dante's pale face, at the man who'd protected her daughter, who'd believed her when no one else would, who'd given her something she thought she'd lost forever, hope. I understand. Tell me what to do. Place your hand over his heart. Focus on the bond between you, that pull you've been feeling since you met. And let your wolf reach for his. Olivia did as instructed, placing her palm flat against Dante's chest. She could feel his heartbeat, weak and irregular. She closed her eyes and searched for that invisible thread connecting them. There. A golden cord, frayed and fragile, barely holding on. She reached for it with her wolf, and the moment they touched, the world went white. The mate bond snapped into place with the force of a lightning strike. Power flooded through Olivia, Dante's strength, his determination, his absolute refusal to give up. And flowing back into him was her own power, the ancient magic of the lunar bloodline that had been sleeping inside her for so long. When the light faded, Dante's eyes flew open, glowing pure gold. His wounds were knitting closed, healing at a speed that made Elena gasp. Olivia, he rasped. She was crying, she realized. Tears streaming down her face as the bond settled into place between them. She could feel him now, every emotion, every sensation. The love and protectiveness he felt for her was so overwhelming it stole her breath. You saved me, she whispered. Now we're even. Dante's hand came up to cup her face. We're not even. We're mated. Which means I'm never letting you go. Before she could respond, the door burst open. Cain stood there, his face ravaged with guilt and grief. "Boss, he stopped when he saw Dante sitting up. "You're alive." "Barely." Dante's voice was rough. "And you're exiled." "I know. I deserve it. I deserve worse." Cain took a shaky breath. "But before I go, you need to know the facility where they're keeping the Omegas. I know where it is. I can draw you a map, give you the security codes. Everything." Dante was quiet for a long moment. Olivia could feel his internal struggle through the bond, betrayal warring with understanding, rage fighting against compassion. "Your sister," Dante said finally. "What's her name?" "Lily. She's 19. They took her 3 years ago." Cain's voice broke. "She's all I have left. Then we're going to get her back." Dante swung his legs off the table, ignoring Elena's protests. "But here's the deal. You testify against Silvercrest. Everything you know, everything you've seen. You help us bring them down. And maybe, you earn your way back into this pack." Cain's eyes went wide. "You'd let me, after what I did? You did it to save family. I understand that better than anyone." Dante looked at Olivia, then toward the door where Mila's white pup form was peeking through. "But you work your ass off to earn back trust. And if you ever betray us again, there won't be a third chance. I swear. On my life, I swear." "Good." Dante stood, still a little unsteady. "Then let's go to war." Within an hour, the Devil's Reapers were mobilized. 30 of Dante's best fighters, armed and ready. Cain led them to a warehouse 20 miles outside Pack territory, a nondescript building that looked abandoned. It wasn't. The raid was brutal and efficient. Dante's pack tore through Silvercrest's defenses like they were made of paper. What they found inside made even the most hardened bikers sick. Cages. Dozens of them, filled with Omega wolves in various states of injury and trauma. Some were pregnant. Some were barely conscious. All of them had been used as test subjects for experiments Olivia couldn't even begin to understand. "Jesus Christ," Reaper breathed, looking at the medical equipment, the charts tracking genetic modifications. They were breeding them. Forcing them to carry alpha pups to see what happened. Cain was already moving through the cages, searching. "Lily. Lily, where are you?" A weak voice answered. "Cain." He found her in a cage at the back, a young woman with dark hair and haunted eyes. Cain broke the lock with his bare hands and pulled his sister into his arms, both of them sobbing. Olivia helped free the other Omegas, her heart breaking at their condition. Some flinched away from her touch. Others clung to her like she was their last hope. "We're getting you out," she told them. "All of you. You're safe now." They transported the Omegas back to the clubhouse, where Elena and her medical team were waiting. The stories they told, of torture, of forced breeding, of experiments that killed more wolves than they created, were enough to make the Wolf Council take notice. Especially when Cain testified. The hearing took place 3 days later. The entire Wolf Council assembled, including Sabrina, who looked like she'd swallowed something sour as Cain laid out everything Silvercrest had done. The evidence was damning. Medical records. Financial transactions. Video footage from the facility. And 23 rescued Omegas willing to testify. Ronan Cross and his son Christian were stripped of their titles and sentenced to life imprisonment in the Council's maximum security facility. Their pack was dissolved, their territory divided among neighboring packs who'd proven trustworthy. It should have been a victory. But Sabrina wasn't done. Olivia was in the kitchen of Dante's quarters, making dinner for Mila, when Sabrina walked in uninvited. "Congratulations," Sabrina said coldly. "You won. You got the Alpha King, destroyed a rival pack, and exposed a scandal that will rock the wolf world for years." "I didn't want any of this," Olivia said, not turning around. I just wanted my daughter to be safe. How noble. Sabrina moved closer. Tell me, does Dante know about your bloodline? About what having a lunar wolf as a mate means? He knows I'm his mate. That's all that matters. Is it? Sabrina's voice was silk over steel. Lunar wolves are more than just rare, Olivia. They're powerful. Political tools. Every alpha on this continent is going to want an alliance with Dante now. And some of them will do anything to get it. Then they can try. I'm done running. Are you? Sabrina was right behind her now. What about when they come for your daughter? Mila's not just a female alpha, she's the product of forced alpha genetics. Do you know how valuable that makes her? How many wolves would kill to study her, to breed her, to use her? Olivia spun around, her wolf rising to the surface. Touch my daughter and I'll kill you myself. Sabrina smiled. There it is. The monster underneath. You pretend to be so different from us, but you're just as violent, just as ruthless. She leaned in close. And that's going to destroy you in the end. She turned to leave, and that's when Olivia noticed the tea she'd been steeping for Mila. The cup Sabrina had been standing too close to. What did you do? Olivia grabbed the cup, sniffed it, and her blood ran cold. Wolfsbane. Not enough to kill, but enough to make a child very sick. Nothing you can prove. Sabrina headed for the door. She didn't make it. Mila stood in the doorway in her human form, her eyes glowing amber with rage. You tried to hurt me. Mila, baby, go to your room, Olivia said urgently. But Mila wasn't listening. The air around her crackled with power, raw, untamed alpha energy that no 5-year-old should possess. You're bad, Mila said, her voice echoing strangely. You hurt people. You tried to hurt my mama. Mila, please, Olivia started forward, but Dante appeared, catching her arm. Let her, he said quietly. She needs to learn to defend herself. Sabrina laughed, but it sounded nervous. You're going to let a child fight your battles? I'm not a child. Mila's voice had dropped, taking on the resonance of an alpha command. I'm a cross. And you're in my territory. What happened next was fast. Mila didn't shift, didn't attack physically. She simply released the alpha power she'd been holding back, and it hit Sabrina like a physical force. Sabrina screamed, dropping to her knees. When it was over, she was gasping, her face twisted in pain. And when she looked up, her eyes, which had always glowed with wolf amber, were dull, human. What did you do? Sabrina's voice was panicked. What did you do to me? I took it away, Mila said calmly. Your wolf. She didn't want to be with someone so mean anyway. It shouldn't have been possible. Stripping a wolf of their animal was a power that hadn't been seen in centuries, something only the most ancient alphas could do. Sabrina staggered to her feet and ran, her human eyes wide with terror. The moment she was gone, Mila's facade crumbled. She started crying, huge, gasping sobs that shook her small frame. I didn't mean to, she wailed. I didn't mean to hurt her that bad. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Olivia scooped her up, holding her tight. Shoo, baby, it's okay. It's not okay. I took her wolf. Mila buried her face in her mother's shoulder. That makes me a monster, doesn't it? No. Dante's voice was firm. He knelt down so he was eye level with Mila. Listen to me, baby girl. You protected your mama. Sabrina was trying to poison you. What you did was defend your family. But I hurt her really bad. Yes, you did. And that's a hard thing to live with. Dante's expression was gentle. I've hurt people too. Killed people, even. And it never feels good, even when it's necessary. But that doesn't make you a monster. It makes you strong. Powerful. And we're going to teach you how to use that power the right way. Promise? I promise. Dante pulled both Mila and Olivia into his arms. We're a family now. All three of us. And families protect each other, but they also help each other carry the weight of hard choices. Mila nodded against his chest, her crying slowly subsiding. That night, after Mila was finally asleep, Dante and Olivia sat on the couch in his quarters, her head on his shoulder. I've been thinking, Dante said quietly. About what happens next. We rebuild, Olivia said. We help the Omegas we rescued. We keep Mila safe. We do all that. But I'm also giving up my title as Alpha King. Olivia sat up, shocked. What? Why? Because that title comes with responsibilities I don't want anymore. Politics, alliances, councils. He shook his head. I want to create something new. A pack for wolves who don't fit anywhere else. The rescued Omegas, Cain and his sister, anyone who needs a safe place. And us? You, me, and Mila are the heart of it. Our family, our rules. He cupped her face. I spent 20 years being what everyone else needed me to be. Now I want to be what you and Mila need. Olivia kissed him, slow and deep, the mate bond singing between them. Then let's build something better. They did. Over the next 3 months, Dante transferred his Alpha King title to Jax, his most trusted pack brother. He built a new compound on neutral territory, a place where any wolf could find sanctuary, no questions asked. The rescued Omegas slowly healed. Cain worked tirelessly to earn back trust, and his sister Lily became one of Mila's favorite people. The Devil's Reapers transitioned from an outlaw club to something resembling a real pack, bound not by territory but by choice. Olivia trained with her lunar wolf powers, learning control, discovering the extent of her abilities. She was powerful. Stronger than most alphas, with gifts that bordered on magical. And Mila thrived. Still too young, still learning, but surrounded by people who loved her and understood what she was. It wasn't perfect. There were hard days. Nightmares. Moments when the trauma threatened to drown them all. But they had each other. And that was enough. Epilogue, 5 years later. The morning sun painted the compound in shades of gold and amber, and Olivia stood at the kitchen window watching her daughter race across the training field in her wolf form. Not the small white pup anymore, but a graceful young wolf who moved with the confidence of someone who knew exactly who she was. 10 years old now. Where had the time gone? She's getting faster, Dante said, wrapping his arms around Olivia from behind, his chin resting on her shoulder. Even after 5 years of being mated, the bond between them still hummed with warmth and contentment. She could feel his pride in Mila, his absolute certainty that their daughter would grow into something extraordinary. She's beating Reaper's son in every race now, Olivia said, leaning back into her mate's embrace. He's not taking it well. Dante chuckled, the sound rumbling through his chest into her back. He'll survive. Pride heals. Through the window, they watched as Mila shifted back to human form, laughing as she helped the younger wolf, Marcus, Reaper's 8-year-old son, to his feet. The boy had shifted mid-race and tumbled, but instead of gloating over her victory, Mila was showing him the technique she'd used to take the corner faster. She's so much like you, Dante murmured. Always teaching, always protecting. She's like both of us, Olivia corrected. She has your strength and my stubbornness. God help us all. Olivia laughed and turned in his arms to face him. 5 years had added a few more silver strands to Dante's dark hair, a few more laugh lines around his eyes. He'd given up the weight of being Alpha King, but he'd never stopped being a leader. Their sanctuary pack had grown from 20 wolves to nearly 200, Omegas, exiles, lone wolves, and families who just wanted somewhere safe to raise their children. It was chaotic, messy, and absolutely perfect. Coffee's ready, Elena called from behind them. The pack doctor had become more than just their physician over the years, she was family. She ran the medical center they'd built, trained new healers, and somehow still found time to bake cookies for the pups every Sunday. Bless you, Olivia said, accepting the mug. Is Lily awake yet? She's in the nursery with the twins, Elena said with a smile. She's got a gift with babies. They never cry when she's holding them. Lily, Kane's sister, who'd been so broken when they'd rescued her, had blossomed in the safety of the sanctuary. She'd found her calling as a caretaker for the pack's youngest members, and the joy on her face when she was surrounded by pups made all the hard work of building this place worthwhile. The kitchen door burst open and Mila bounded in, still flushed from her run. Mama, did you see? I beat my record by 3 seconds. I saw, baby. You were amazing. Olivia opened her arms and Mila crashed into her for a hug, even though at 10 she was getting too big for it. She still smelled like sunshine and wild things, still had that spark of mischief in her amber eyes. Can I go to the lake with Marcus and Lily after breakfast? She said she'd teach us how to catch fish with our wolf forms. Homework first, Dante said, ruffling her dark curls. Mila groaned dramatically. But Dad, it's Saturday. And you have a history paper due Monday that you haven't started. Dante raised an eyebrow. Nice try, though. Fine. Mila grabbed a muffin from the counter. But I'm writing about the lunar bloodline. Aunt Maya said she'd help me research. Olivia's chest tightened with emotion. Her daughter spoke about the lunar heritage with pride now, not shame. They'd worked hard to make sure Mila understood that her power was a gift, not a curse. After Mila ran off to find Maya, one of their pack sisters who'd become the compound's unofficial historian, Olivia and Dante sat down for breakfast. It was their ritual, these quiet moments before the day's chaos began. Council meeting this afternoon, Dante reminded her. We need to discuss the expansion plans. And the school proposal, Olivia added. More families are asking about proper education for the older pups. They'd built so much in 5 years. A medical center, a training facility, housing for over 50 families, gardens that fed the entire pack. But there was always more to do, more dreams to chase. The compound had become a beacon for wolves who didn't fit the traditional pack structure. They had same-sex couples raising pups together, single parents, wolves who'd been exiled from their birth packs for falling in love with humans, omegas who'd survived trafficking and were rebuilding their lives. Everyone was welcome. Everyone was family. Sometimes I still can't believe this is real, Olivia said softly. That we built this. That we're safe. Dante reached across the table to take her hand. We're more than safe. We're home. The word settled warm in Olivia's chest. Home. She'd spent so many years running, convinced she'd never have a place to belong. Now she had a mate who loved her fiercely, a daughter who was thriving, and a family that chose each other every single day. A knock on the door interrupted them. Kane poked his head in, his expression apologetic. Sorry to interrupt, but we've got a situation at the south gate. Dante was on his feet immediately. What kind of situation? A scared one. Young Omega female, maybe 16, showed up asking for sanctuary. She's pretty beat up. Won't say where she came from, but she's terrified. Olivia and Dante exchanged a look. They'd seen this before, too many times. Wolves running from abuse, from trafficking, from packs that saw Omegas as property instead of people. Take her to Elena, Olivia said, already moving. And have Maya bring some clothes and food. I'll talk to her. This was why they'd built the sanctuary. For wolves like this girl, who needed a place to heal. The Omega was sitting in the medical center when Olivia arrived, her eyes downcast, her body language screaming fear. She had bruises on her arms, healing cuts on her face, and the hollow look of someone who'd seen too much horror too young. Hi, Olivia said softly, keeping her distance. I'm Olivia. This is my home. You're safe here. The girl's eyes lifted, amber and afraid. You're the lunar wolf. I am. But mostly I'm just a mom trying to keep my kids safe and help other wolves do the same. Olivia sat down slowly, making herself non-threatening. What's your name? Sarah. The girl's voice was barely a whisper. Sarah. That's a pretty name. Olivia smiled gently. Can you tell me where you came from? Sarah's hands twisted in her lap. I can't. They'll come looking for me. They always come looking. Let them come. Nobody takes anyone from this pack without going through me, my mate, and about 200 very protective wolves first. Olivia's voice was firm. You're safe here. I promise. Sarah started crying then, huge, gulping sobs that shook her thin frame. Olivia moved closer and pulled the girl into her arms, holding her while she broke apart. She'd been here. 5 years ago, she'd been the one running, terrified, convinced no one would believe her or protect her. Now she got to be the person who offered sanctuary. I've got you, Olivia murmured. You're home now. Later that afternoon, after Sarah had been settled in a guest room with Lily watching over her, Olivia found Dante in his office. He was staring at a map on the wall, marking pack territories and neutral zones. Another trafficking ring, he said without looking up. That's the third Omega we've taken in from that territory in 6 months. Someone's operating there, and they're getting bolder. We can't save everyone, Olivia said quietly, though it hurt to admit. No. But we can save the ones who find us. Dante turned to her, and his expression was determined. I want to expand our outreach. Send teams to neighboring territories, let wolves know there's a safe place if they need it. That could draw attention. The wrong kind. I know. But it's the right thing to do. He crossed to her, cupping her face. You changed my life when you stumbled into my parking lot. Let's keep changing lives. Olivia kissed him, pouring 5 years of love and gratitude into it. Okay. Let's do it. That evening, the pack gathered for dinner in the communal hall they'd built. It was loud, chaotic, filled with laughter and the sounds of pups playing. Long tables seated everyone, and pack members took turns cooking meals that fed the whole family. Tonight it was Jax's turn, and he'd made his famous chili. The former Alpha King, who'd taken over Dante's title when Dante stepped down, visited the sanctuary regularly. He'd become a bridge between the traditional pack world and their unconventional family. This is amazing, Jax said, looking around at the filled hall. You've built something special here, Dante. We all built it, Dante corrected. Every wolf here contributes something. Mila was sitting with a group of pups her age, telling some elaborate story that had them all hanging on every word. Sarah, the new arrival, sat next to Lily, still looking overwhelmed but no longer terrified. Kane approached their table with his sister, both carrying plates of food. In 5 years, Kane had worked tirelessly to earn back the pack's trust. He'd testified against Silvercrest, helped rescue dozens of Omegas, and never once asked for forgiveness he didn't deserve. Slowly, he'd become family again. Lily wants to propose something at the council meeting, Kane said, his expression proud. Lily blushed but stood her ground. I want to start a support group. For wolves who've survived trafficking. A safe space where we can talk about what happened and help each other heal. Olivia felt tears prick her eyes. That's beautiful, Lily. Of course we'll support it. I'll help, Sarah said quietly from across the table. Everyone turned to look at her, and she ducked her head but continued. I want to help other wolves like me. If that's okay. More than okay, Dante said firmly. Every voice matters here. After dinner, families dispersed to evening activities. Some went for runs in the forest. Others gathered for movie night in the recreation hall. The pups had a bonfire and Esmore's tradition every Saturday night. Olivia, Dante, and Mila walked back to their house, a comfortable home on the edge of the compound with a view of the lake. It wasn't fancy, but it was theirs. Mila was already in her pajamas when she came to say goodnight, her hair damp from her shower. Mama? Dad? Can I ask you something? Always, Olivia said, patting the bed beside her. Mila climbed up, suddenly looking younger than her 10 years. Do you think I'll ever have to use my power again? Like I did with Sabrina? It was a question she asked sometimes, usually when new wolves arrived with stories of the cruelty they'd escaped. The memory of stripping Sabrina's wolf still haunted their daughter, even though she'd done it to protect her mother. I hope not, Dante said honestly, sitting on Mila's other side. But if you ever have to protect yourself or someone you love, you'll have that power. And you'll use it wisely, because we've taught you the difference between protection and cruelty. Sabrina was cruel, Mila said. But I still think about her sometimes. Wonder if she's okay. That's because you have a good heart, Olivia said, smoothing her daughter's curls. Being powerful doesn't mean being heartless. You can be strong and still be kind. Mila nodded, then snuggled between them. I love our family. We love you too, baby girl, Dante murmured. More than anything in this world. They sat like that for a while, the three of them together, until Mila's breathing evened out in sleep. Carefully, Dante carried her to her own room while Olivia followed. Mila's room was covered in drawings, wolves running, the compound buildings, portraits of pack members. Their daughter had discovered a love of art, and her walls were her canvas. After tucking her in, Olivia and Dante stood in the doorway, watching her sleep. We did good, Dante whispered. Yeah, Olivia agreed. We really did. They walked out onto their back porch, the night air cool and clean. The compound was settling down for the evening, lights in windows, the distant sound of laughter, the peaceful quiet of a pack at rest. Dante pulled Olivia into his arms, and they swayed gently, dancing to music only they could hear through the mate bond. Do you ever miss it? Olivia asked. Being Alpha King? Having that power? Not even once. Dante kissed her temple. This is better. This is real. What do you think happens next? For us, I mean. I think we keep building. Keep protecting. Keep loving. He pulled back to look at her, his eyes soft in the moonlight. I think we watch our daughter grow into the incredible woman she's meant to be. I think we save more wolves who need saving. And I think we grow old together, exactly like this. That sounds perfect. It is perfect. Because I'm with you. Olivia kissed him, slow and deep, the mate bond singing between them with contentment and joy. 5 years ago, she'd been broken, terrified, convinced she'd never be safe again. Now she stood in the home she'd built with the mate she'd chosen, watching over the pack they'd created together. Inside the house, Mila stirred in her sleep and smiled, dreaming of running through forests with her white wolf leading the way. In the guest quarters, Sarah was sleeping peacefully for the first time in months, Lily keeping watch to make sure she knew she wasn't alone. In their own homes, pack members settled in for the night, couples and families, lone wolves and found families, all of them choosing to stay together. This was sanctuary. This was safety. This was home. And tomorrow, they'd wake up and do it all again, protecting, healing, building something better than what came before. Because that's what family did. They showed up. They fought for each other. They created space for broken things to heal. Dante and Olivia stood on their porch, wrapped in each other's arms, and watched the stars come out over their compound. Their sanctuary. Their family. Their forever. And in that moment, with the mate bond humming between them and their daughter sleeping safe in her bed, Olivia finally understood what she'd been searching for all those years she'd been running. Not just safety. Not just survival. But this, a place where love was stronger than fear, where broken wolves could become whole again, where a scarred Omega and a fierce Alpha King could build a home for anyone who needed one. This was where her story had been leading all along. This was where she belonged. Home. The end.